What's up guys, it's the Carp here, back with another video, and today is going to be the last part of this Football Manager experiment. If you missed the last couple episodes, go check them out, but in this save I have given every Eredivisie club and Dutch second division club perfect youth facilities and perfect training facilities. We are now 30 years in, the farthest you can go on Football Manager Mobile, simulated all the way through, and we're going to start off again with the players. So as you can see here, the top goal scorer, at least of players that isn't retired, is Tony Betsema. Yeah, Betsema. Close to Benzema, not quite. 34 years old now, 87 goals and 109 appearances. Really good stats still for him. But unfortunately, not really many players kind of matching that. This guy definitely would with stats like that. That's about it for the goals. Let's look at just, I guess we can just go value. So, this is what the top 7's looking like. Some insane value there. 6 players here worth more than 200 million. Zegers you've already seen. Dumfries probably not worth quite that much, but still an incredible player. This guy here, an insane complete forward. Hasn't even played that much for the Dutch national team though. Koolin, a wonder kid that again hasn't even made an appearance for the national team, but shows you how good they've become at this point. Again, another incredible player there. Just unbelievable talents all the way around. This guy probably the best center back I've ever seen in FM. Klooster here, close to being, probably the best wing back I've ever seen. He doesn't have kind of as well-rounded stats as I've seen, but 20s, in several places in really important areas. Even at 32 years old, very impressive for him. And he's made over 100 appearances for the Dutch national team. But if we just look here at any nationality, so you can see just absolutely dominated by Holland. So many incredible players in there. And I actually went there and looked. So there are 6 Dutch players worth more than 200 million. First off, there's not any other players from any nationality worth that much. But also, there's only 4 players in England, Portugal, and Italy that are actually worth more than 100 million. And then in Holland, you've got 6 worth more than 200 million. And there's actually, if you combined France, Germany, Portugal, Italy, and England, there's 18 players worth more than 100 million. And there's 20 that are worth more than 100 mil that are Dutch. So just insane there. So definitely it's made a huge impact on the world of football. All these teams having great youth facilities. But if we look, that's going to be it for the players. If you look now at the league standards, so this is how it's ended up. Holland, unfortunately, still in 4th place. I think that's actually where they were when I started off last episode, or showed you guys last episode. But they're pretty well ahead of France, pretty well behind Spain, Italy, and England, though. But they, at the start of this save, I went back and looked, they were actually 9th place. And if we look at the reputation, they have bumped their way up to 4th in the reputation. So they're in the top 4, still 4.5 star, so not quite up there with the top teams. But part of the reason for that is because we have had a couple more winners since last time. So Ajax have won another Champions League, and PSV have won another. So that brings the total to 4 Champions League winners and 2 runner-ups from the Eredivisie. And that would be PSV with 1 win, 1 runners-up, Ajax with 3 appearances in the final, 3 wins, and AZ Alkmaar with 1 runner-up way back in 22-23. And then if we look at the Europa League, they haven't won this a crazy amount of times. I don't think they've actually won it since you guys have last seen. No, but they have managed to win it twice, PSV and AZ winning them, and then PSV getting a runner-up as well. And then in the Europa League 2, they have 3 winners and 1 runner-up. Most recently, Vitesse managing to get themselves a win, and then Twente and AZ with another win, and Groningen in 42-43 with a runner-up. So Europa League the Europa League and the Europa League 2 not really that competitive compared to the Champions League, but in the Champions League, 4 wins and 2 runners-up might not seem sort of that super impressive, but to put it in perspective, French teams have not made it to the final a single time in this 30-year period. And then Germany, another close rival league-wise, have won it once with Borussia Dortmund and finished 2 runners-ups. So that's Bayern and Dortmund. Don't know where Bayern is in here. There it is. But yeah, so pretty impressive there. So if we now look at the national level, I don't want to look at the rankings just yet, but have they managed to win the World Cup? They didn't win the most recent one, as you can see there, and they did not win the World Cup, unfortunately, even though the United States even managed to make it in there. Croatia finishing second and then winning it most recently, so good for them. But Holland, unfortunately, did not even make the final, despite having so many incredible players. But they have won an international tournament. So if we look here at the, where is it? Where's the Nations League? So the International League, they have won it one time, way back in 2035. That's obviously past old videos, but I didn't highlight that. So they did win it once. That's their first international tournament in this sort of experiment, and they finished runner-up twice in that. But luckily, they did also finally, and actually you could have seen it this whole time because it's right there, but they did win the most recent European Championship. So they didn't finish in the final any times up until 2048, but then they did make it into the final against Belgium and got the win to get their first major international trophy, if you don't want to count the Nations League, which I wouldn't necessarily. But yeah, so they won one major international tournament most recently, and most of their Champions League success has kind of come sort of really all but I think one runners-up has been in the last half of this save. So it's pretty safe to presume that if this were able to be continued, that Holland would be a dominant force. But where did they finish in the rankings? They are now the second best team in the world, up there just behind Spain, who finish on top in pretty much every save. They've got really the best foundations, the best starting point, but they're ahead of the likes of England, Portugal, USA, who has won the World Cup, Mexico, France, Germany, Argentina, Brazil, so many great teams, and it's really to be expected given their national team. But I think realistically, if anyone was actually managing, like if you were going to manage in this save, it's pretty clear that you would pick Holland as the best national team to manage by a absolute mile. The Spanish national team actually isn't even that impressive, sort of by value. I'm sure there's some great players in there, but they just don't really match up to the Dutch national team. I mean, look at that. Just so many great players. This guy is, technically speaking, the worst one on the team, and even he is a decent backup goalkeeper. But that is about it for this experiment. We have finished the 30 years, so that's going to be the last part. If you guys have any suggestions on sort of what other experiments you want me to do, I've got a new series in mind that I want to do. I won't let you guys know what it is, but I'm not really sure what sort of experiment I want to do next with this in-game editor. But that is going to do it for this video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.